Hello, welcome to Take a Hike with Ben and Casey Davidson. We are in Alpha Park in Bartonville, otherwise known as the house that Casey built. Casey, you grew up in Bartonville.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you were quite the legendary runner at Limestone High School. There was a record you held for a while here, right?
Yeah, not anymore. But
Not anymore. Tell us the distance and the time.
Oh, it was the 4x800 relay.
Yeah.
I don't remember the time. Sorry, I don't actually remember the time.
It
That
was so
sounds
fast, they couldn't even write it down.
bad.
It was so fast. Well, we're excited to be here in Alpha Park, hitting some of the back trails here. I am sporting my 360 Electric t-shirt, our favorite electricians, and has something to do with the fact that my wife and son work there too. So, we should get like endorsements for each one of these.
Yeah, we should.
This episode sponsored
That's
by
right.
360 Electric, and all we ask is for t-shirts
Yes.
for them.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway, the thing that we're going to talk about briefly before a more serious topic is something that's near and dear to both of our hearts: the Cubs and the Cardinals. I am a proud Cardinal fan. How many World Series in the last 100 years? 11 World Series. Casey, on the other hand, go ahead.
I'm a Cub fan since I was in diapers. Thanks to my dad and my grandma.
Yes.
It's a generational love for the Cubs.
I noticed you didn't talk about how many World Series in the last 100 years.
Well, we won more recently than you have.
Yes, you have. That is true. And you are currently ahead of us in the standings
Yes.
right now. There's a good chance the Cardinals and Cubs will be in the playoffs together. So that would be fun
Hopefully.
if they met each other.
Yeah.
So, but we handle this well, I think. We're not too mean to each other. Maybe I was
No.
just mean to you about it,
No.
but we handle it pretty well. I actually cheered for the Cubs in 2016 in that
You
World
did.
Series.
That was the only time.
That was one time I went yes when the
Yeah.
Cubs did something right.
But you have tried to convert me over the years we've been married.
Yes. And
Be a
how's it
Cardinal
working
fan.
out?
I have to say, I would do anything for you except become a Cardinal fan.
Wow. Yeah. Is that the oneness in marriage that we were called to, Casey? Or I guess you could say I should pursue the Cubs for oneness in marriage too, but that's not going to happen either. So it's fitting that we're talking about our marriage rivalry here, because we also wanted to talk about how to handle hard situations in communication. Could be a husband and a wife, it could be a coworker, it could be serving in ministry together with another person. And let's see, why don't you set it up here for us? The one person's having a hard time responding well in a conversation
Yeah.
or in a meeting.
Well, I'll set it up with a passage from Romans, the end of Romans, chapter 12. There's several verses there that talk about do not repay evil for evil. And it's mentioned several times in that passage, so it's probably important. And there's also a verse in there that says, do not be wise in your own eyes. So,
Yeah.
I think from that passage that we can learn to sometimes we just need to keep our mouth shut and not say what we really want to say in a situation where we might be right, or we might have a better we might have a better idea, or we might have a better way to do things, or the person has offended us and we would like to just say something really that's really gonna put them in their place and
Right.
show them that they're wrong. And so just that ability and grace to just keep our mouth shut and not say anything at all is sometimes the best thing we can do in that situation.
Yeah. And that's especially good for a person like me, who's more of a ready, fire, aim person sometimes in conversation, where I don't, I'm not quick to listen and slow to speak, or slow to become angry, like it says in James. is it different for a person like you who's maybe a little more soft-spoken? Is it harder or easier for you with a different personality than mine?
Well, I think there is an aspect to it. It does come more naturally to some people to be able to control their tongue, or just to be able to filter what they're going to say, or even not say anything at all, right? I think that does come easier to some people, but it doesn't mean it's something we can't work on if it doesn't come easy to us. All the more, right?
Right.
To practice that grace of just not saying anything and waiting till the emotions calm down a little bit, and then being able to talk about it in a humble manner.
Mm-hmm. The idea is to de-escalate those situations, so that if you're talking with someone who's struggling with responding well, or whether it's because of a circumstance they're in, a sin issue they're dealing with, Proverbs 15:1 says a gentle answer turns away wrath. And so what would be some of the things we could say to de-escalate a situation that's kind of ramping up and a potential conflict coming?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it starts with what we're thinking, right? And I think sometimes it's helpful to remember that we'd like to be shown grace, and we have been shown grace by others when we're having a bad day.
Yeah.
And we remember that this person would probably like to be shown grace in that situation. They probably aren't trying, hopefully intentionally, to say something to offend you, but they are stressed out about something at work or school. And we understand that about them, and we can observe that and show them grace, because we would like that to be shown to us, and we have been, obviously, most importantly, through the gospel. But
so surprise, it starts with remembering the gospel,
right,
and our need for grace,
right,
and our need to show that to others.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where it starts.
Yes. So it starts with our thinking, right?
And gospel
then,
thinking.
Right. And then, as far as like some soft answers to say to others.
Well, can I interrupt you just for a second? I think you're training your brain to think gospel, asking the Holy Spirit to help you, and I think just those two words as you're in the situation, help me, like God help me. I need to say something here that will de-escalate.
Yeah.
Help me not to rely upon just my memory of a certain sentence I've memorized to de-escalate a situation, but help me be led by your Spirit. Help me to remember the things that I've read from your word. This is where a devotional time, dependence upon the Lord, is so evident, that if we're not being dependent upon Him in peacetime and taking in the scriptures, praying, then when it comes to those situations, it's even harder to be dependent on Him, because we haven't trained ourselves to be thinking, I need the Lord.
Yeah.
So all that to say, then, if we're doing this gospel thinking, dependence on Him in peacetime, then we can say things like,
well, one, we cannot say anything at all right then.
Oh, yeah.
And ask
That's true.
to talk about it later. Say, hey, can we talk about this later? Or later you can say, can I bring up what happened earlier today?
I can see that you have a lot of emotion behind what you're saying. I am too. Would it be okay if we hit the pause button here for a few minutes?
Right.
And came back together once we're thinking well on things.
You can also like empathize with the person. Like, I'm sorry that your day was really hard, or I'm sorry that this didn't go well. Before you maybe bring up, something that needs to be resolved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Try to step into their shoes, show them that you care about them.
Right.
And then I think asking questions like, would it be okay if I brought this up?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I gotta tear your head off and tell you something right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Anything else on this topic?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. Well, that's it for Team Touch. We hope this all comes through. It's pretty windy. We'll see how the microphone did. But hope you have a great rest of your day.
Go
Thanks
Cubs.
for tuning in.